Debx, amplifying voices, accelerating change.
Please help me welcome to the Debx stage, Gwendelyn Kay.
I'm 10 years old. It's late at night. I live in the woods of New Hampshire where the night is so dark that you can't see the hand in front of your face. I'm sitting on the couch, and next to me are my mom and my siblings, and we're in our pajamas. I'm staring at the front door, and I'm terrified. My father is drunk outside on the porch yelling obscenities. Earlier that evening, my mother had locked the door so that he couldn't get in. Now, finding the door locked, my dad goes to the shed to get an axe, and he starts to chop his way into the front door. If you've seen The Shining, the scene is very similar. It's very similar to The Shining, absolutely. This was not the only time. So there were many times that my father was very violent, and I wondered if I would live to see the next day. I spent most of my childhood wondering if my father would kill my mother, if I would have to take the place and be the woman of the household, and maybe he would kill us all this time. Now, my father did pass away when I was 19, and that should have been a relief, but it wasn't. I had nightmares for years that he didn't actually die and that he was going to come back and kill us. For this 10-year-old girl, there was no hope. There was no hope of escape. There were no future, no dreams, no plans. Dreams and plans are for people who believe they're going to see the next day. Growing up in that childhood, there was no way that I could believe I could accomplish anything. I was constantly told that I couldn't. I couldn't believe in a life that had joy or success because I'd never seen it and I'd never experienced it. I spent a lot of my early life believing that I could never get better. But eventually, I got really tired of living my life in dread and of letting my past keep me in loneliness and darkness. But I had no idea how to get better. So I read every book I could find on self-help. I went to workshops, I went to seminars, and I kept learning and I kept healing. In a lot of these seminars, though, I would hear this saying, and it was, if you believe, you can achieve. What if you don't believe? What if you were like me and you were brought up in a household where you couldn't believe in anything? That 10-year-old little girl could not have ever believed in anything. So, how did that 10-year-old little girl get from a dark night in New Hampshire to standing here on stage? Did she believe that she would be telling her story to hundreds of people? I'm here right now. I tell you, I still don't believe it. The truth that I've learned along the way is that you don't have to believe it to achieve it. That even if you don't believe it, you can decide, and you can do it anyway. So, if you think about your own life, isn't there something that you've accomplished that when you started out, you didn't think you could achieve it? Maybe you didn't believe that you could get married, or maybe have children, or get that new job, start that business. Have you ever had to encourage maybe a child, or even a best friend to do something that they didn't think that they could do? What I realized is that even though I didn't believe I could do things, I had decided what I wanted, and I kept deciding what I wanted, even though I didn't believe. And in that, I decided I could be happy. I decided I could travel. I decided I could get trained in hypnotherapy. I could decide, even if I didn't believe I could do it. And even if there didn't seem to be any way I could possibly accomplish it, I had to keep deciding. And I had to do it anyway. With this in mind, I signed up for one of those 5K fun runs. You know, the ones where they're throwing the colors and people are all happy and smiling. Well, looked like fun, right? But I had put off doing it. Why? I did not believe I could do it. Okay, I have bad knees. I'm not a runner. They'd run by me, I'm pretty sure. And I'd embarrass myself. But I didn't believe I could do it. So I signed up anyway. I'd love to say that I got really excited and I went running every day to get ready, but I did not do that. I worried. I came up with a million reasons why I couldn't do it. But every day I decided that I was going to do it anyway. On race day, I showed up totally mentally prepared to all the things I was going to say as the runners passed by me and stuff. Do you know what happened? Yeah, the runners, they did. They passed by me. But you know what? There were people that walked the whole thing. I even passed up people that were sitting down to rest. I was kind of shocked and surprised, and I had a really, really good time. So I actually would go on to do more 5K fun runs, and my kids and my coworkers even joined me. So while I didn't think that I could do it, I did it anyway, and I loved it. You see, if I thought I had to believe it to do it, I'd still be sitting on that couch, thinking someday I can do it. In your life, is there a someday? Is there something that you've been putting off because you don't believe you can do it? Maybe it's a country you've always wanted to travel to. Maybe it's finding that job you really love. Maybe it's a 5K or a triathlon. Or maybe it's just talking to that girl or that guy that you really like. What's your someday? What are you waiting to do? Maybe, just maybe, you can decide and do it anyway. Research in early psychology proved that the more that you believe that you can achieve a goal, the more likely that you are to achieve it. But the most recent research says you do not have to believe it. That by achieving small goals, you can learn to believe. Take my son, for example. He was looking for a job, but he was so discouraged because the jobs he'd had before had not worked out for him. He didn't believe that there was a good job out there. I asked him, "What do you want?" After telling me all of the things that he didn't want, I asked him again, "What have you decided that you do want in a job?" I had him write it down, and I reminded him every day of what he had decided, even if he didn't believe it. See, even though he didn't believe it, he kept looking, and he even passed up jobs that didn't fit with what he had decided. He found a job that was more enjoyable than he couldn't have possibly imagined. He decided, and he did it anyway, even though he didn't think it was possible. Now, our brains tend to focus on what we don't want. This is actually our brain's way of keeping us safe. But this way of thinking does not help us and can really keep us stuck. When we decide and we focus on what we do want, we increase the chances of achieving it. This can be explained by the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon. So this is when you focus on something and then all of a sudden you start to see it everywhere. Have you ever wanted to buy a car? For me, it was a Honda Pilot. I knew what I wanted. I wanted a dark color. Then I started seeing it everywhere. I even saw it in the parking lot at work, and I'm telling you, they were not there before. This is why it's important to keep deciding what you do want, because what you think more of, you get more of. So, decide what you want. Maybe you write it down in a journal, make a written list, make statements of what you do want. Aristotle said, choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Deciding what you want does not mean that you know how you're going to achieve it. It doesn't mean that you're not afraid. It doesn't even guarantee that you're going to succeed or fail, or that you believe that you can do it. It means that you decide and you do it anyway. So what do you want? Whether you believe you can have it or not. I'll leave you with a quote from Napoleon Hill. Do not wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand and work whatever tools you have at your command, and better tools you'll find as you go along. Thank you.